The demand came before viewers had even finished processing what had unfolded. Donald Trump applauded ABC's decision to suspend Jimmy Kimmel, labeled the late-night host untalented, blamed the show's declining ratings, and called on television networks to remove other late-night personalities who regularly criticized him.
Breaking news on Jimmy Kimmel and autism.
Jimmy Kimmel coming back to late-night television.
Who would you like to see replace Kimmel on late night?
Well, a lot of people, anybody could replace him. The guy had no talent. Kimmel had, look, he was fired, he had no talent. He's a whack job, but he had no talent. And more importantly than talent, he had no, because a lot of people have no talent, they get ratings. But he had no ratings.
All the people in the world over the last 6 days, everyone I have ever met has reached out 10 or 11 times. Weird characters from my past are the guy who fired me from my first radio job in Seattle, where we are not airing tonight, by the way. Sorry, Seattle. Posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it. I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual.
It's going to be in a moment.
Yeah, no question. A huge moment in American history.
It's one of the most pivotal moments in broadcast history.
He will be delivering what is being dubbed the most anticipated monologue in late night in years.
I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't.
ABC chose to bring back their low-rating nighttime host.
We are in for a monologue that will be a marker in late-night show history.
To work at a company that has allowed me to do the show the way we want to do it for almost 23 years. I've done almost 4,000 shows on ABC, and over that time, the people who run this network have allowed me to evolve and to stretch the boundaries of what was once traditional for a late-night talk show.
The message was clear. Jimmy Kimmel's voice should no longer be heard. Yet just 6 days later, that voice returned. On September 23, 2025, ABC restored Jimmy Kimmel Live to its regular lineup. Kimmel stepped back onto the stage, carrying far more than the weight of a typical opening monologue. His earlier comments following the killing of Charlie Kirk had drawn widespread criticism, with many calling them insensitive. Federal Communications Commission Chairman Brendan Carr had openly pressured broadcasters. Several major station groups had declined to air the program, and Trump had portrayed the suspension as a political triumph. Kimmel did not attempt to dismiss the controversy. He explained that he had never intended to make light of Kirk's death, offered his condolences to the family, and acknowledged that many people had interpreted his remarks differently than he had intended. After addressing that issue directly, he shifted his focus to the campaign surrounding his suspension. Trump had argued that Kimmel was taken off the air because he lacked both talent and an audience. Kimmel responded by highlighting what he viewed as an obvious contradiction. A president who insisted the show was insignificant had repeatedly spoken about its host, praised the suspension, and encouraged television networks to remove additional presenters who criticized him. That exchange occurred before the audience figures were even available. The following day, ABC released the ratings. Kimmel's return broadcast attracted approximately 6.26 million television viewers, around 4 times the show's recent nightly average. It reached that audience despite remaining unavailable in roughly 23% of American television households because several major station groups continued to preempt the broadcast. Millions of additional viewers also watched the opening segment online. Trump's argument about weak ratings unraveled in less than a week. For many viewers over the age of 65 in the United States, Canada, and Britain, the controversy echoed earlier disputes involving broadcasters, political influence, and freedom of expression. A television host could be controversial, make mistakes, or face legitimate criticism. Networks had every right to enforce their own editorial standards. But when political leaders publicly demanded that broadcasters remove critical voices, It raised a separate and more significant question. Was criticism being answered with open debate or with pressure placed on employers? Kimmel's most effective reply was not a personal attack. It was the timeline itself. Trump insisted that no one watched the program. Millions tuned in. Trump celebrated the show's disappearance. Its return became international headlines. Trump portrayed Kimmel as politically powerless. Yet government officials, media executives, station owners, elected leaders, and millions of viewers spent days debating whether he should be allowed back on television. None of those facts proved that Kimmel had been right about everything. His return monologue did not erase the criticism directed at his earlier comments. Likewise, one unusually strong ratings performance could not guarantee long-term popularity. Major news events often generate unusually large audiences. Even so, the numbers directly challenged the claim that public indifference had forced him off the air. Ironically, the attempt to sideline the program created far more attention than it had before. That is why Kimmel never needed to raise his voice. ABC restored the show. He returned to his desk. Trump wanted the story to conclude with a permanent firing. Instead, the suspension handed Kimmel the biggest audience and the most visible platform he had enjoyed in years.